The Totally Unprofessional's Guide to Video Creation. So let's talk a little bit about some of the resources that are available to you and what they do. And so we're going to start off a little bit with, let's start off with our video studio. And these are sort of in level of what I think is more involvement from you. So the top ones are the least involvement, and the bottom ones are the most involvement for you. If you wanted to use our video studio is really sort of a customized video type environment where, and I'll walk you back to that studio if the door is open, but it looks like this, and we do things in there such as setting up group presentations. We also do things like mock interview situations where students can sit apart from each other and can talk to each other. We video that, and then the students can kind of look at how they do during an interview situation. We use the room for all kinds of things like that. This is very customized. So I'll talk about who you contact later, but keep that in the back of your mind. If you want to do something with video, if you take anything out of this, if you want to do something with video, but you don't know if you can do it, call us on the phone. Any one of us can help you and can get you some support. Wirecast Studio. The Wirecast Studio is set up so that if you're trying to do something along the lines of having a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to capture your PowerPoint. You also want to capture a headshot of yourself. You also want to use a document camera because you're going to take some notes by hand, maybe make a couple drawings, make some notes, pie charts, things like that. We have a studio that can capture all of that, and then you can take and edit all of that down yourself. So you schedule the room, you go in there and you spend all day long doing nothing but capturing, editing video, and when you need our help, we're right down the hall. You can come get us and we can come out and help you out. So it's mic'd, it's a soundproof room. It's actually quite nice as far as a soundproof room goes. One Button Studio is probably the easiest way to take video ever. I'll show you a demo of this. But you walk into the room, you plug in the USB drive, the lights come on, you hit a button, it starts taking video, you hit the button again, stops taking video, you pull out your drive, and you walk out the door. The lights turn off behind you. It is completely and totally automated. It's kind of cool. It's surprising how well it actually works, considering it's made by Penn State. Anybody from Penn State? No? Darn, I was hoping for at least one. Okay, so we also have Fuse and Relay. One of these is for a mobile. This is for a mobile device so that if you're wanting to take wanting to walk out into the field and take video with a device, you could use Fuse. It's a free download that can be installed on your Android or iOS device. The desktop version of that is Relay. Relay is, again, a free download that you can download on your machine that you can use to do screenshots. It's also the software package that is installed in the PIT classes so that if you wanted to do lecture capture, you can use Relay in order to do your lecture capture. There is some setup on our part that we need to do, so you'll need to contact one of us so that we can get you an account and get you a profile. Don't worry about what that means. But it's pretty impressive. We can do all kinds of things. The COM 111 courses use use Fuse for all of their students have to give speeches. And so they give lots and lots of speeches. They do hundreds of videos a semester. So the students go up, the instructor has their mobile device with Fuse on it, they hit record, and when the student is done with their 3 to 5 minute presentation, they hit stop, give it the student's name, and it automatically submits into our storage device. Student 2 comes up, they hit record, and they do that over and over again. And it's kind of nice to have a student who mans the device and hits record and all of that. So it works out real well. It's easy. Kaltura Capture Space Lite. This is the newest of the things that we're offering right now. This is a downloadable and free. You can use this right now without any accounts, no profile setup, and this is the thing we're going to use today to do our first test video. iMovie and Windows Movie Maker. Windows Movie Maker is a free download if you're using Windows. If you're on a Mac, you can use iMovie. This is more for it's a little more robust video editing. It does require a little more patience. It requires a little more time on your part to understand the tool. If you go past this in complexity, you get into the area of Adobe Premiere, which you can install if you want. But if you're getting to that level of video editing, then that's great. But I don't suspect anyone here will get to that. You really have to have a real interest in video editing if you get that far into it. So, those are some tools. I passed out this document. So, here I broke it down by what you might want to do just getting started in video. You want to do more than 2 actors, you want to have more than 2 people or more. These are the applications you might want to use. The Video Studio is completely set up for it, or you could use Fuse on your mobile device because you can step back away from people. So you kind of get an idea, I think, of what you can do. You can also do a bunch of custom type things. If you have a guest lecturer that might be coming into your classroom, you could call us. I put it under the Video Studio, but you could call us and we could come and tape that for you. Rick back here is our cameraman for today, and this is the sort of setup that he would do for you if you needed that kind of service. He would set up your audio so that you don't have to worry about it. He would set up the lighting and set up the camera, again, so you don't have to worry about it. He will also edit it for you, again, so that you don't have to worry about it. It's a great thing that he does. The Video Studio is the same way. You don't do anything except bring your content. You have to say something. But you show up, and all of the hardware is taken care of. The lighting's taken care of. The audio's taken care of. You don't have to sweat it. It's something that you really want to keep in mind. And Rick has volunteered to come into your classrooms and shoot every single one of your classes. He will do that for you. He will do this level of intricacy in setting up the audio and all of that. Just a little, but we have had faculty that have requested those kind of things, so be a little careful about what you request as far as that service goes. Make sure it's something special that you really want to keep, that you want to have a really good video and really good audio of. It's not something that we have the resources to do for everybody all the time. So, how are we doing? Any questions so far? All right. Some important tips about shooting video. The most important thing, in my opinion, about your video is your audio. You can have pretty crappy video. As long as you have great audio, people will watch it. If you have terrible audio and great video, no one is going to pay attention, no one's going to watch it. And along with that, if you have video that's like this, if you're like holding a camera and you're walking around like this, hey, how's it going? No one's going to watch that either. But the most important thing is your audio. So make sure that you're getting your audio. Test it before you hit that record button. Well, before you go live and get ready to really do your project. Lighting. You'd be surprised how often this happens. When you're in your office and you're getting ready to do a Skype presentation, you're getting ready to capture your video, you have a nice window behind you because you have a nice office, and you completely become silhouetted. So it's kind of the mob boss thing, you know. So be careful. Make sure that it's fairly well lit, that you can see your face. Backgrounds. If you collect Velvet Elvis posters and you're embarrassed by that, my suggestion to you is not to shoot your video in your comic book reading room. So be aware of what's behind you. It is a little bit of a security thing too. What's behind you? Do you have something there that has your address on there? Just be aware that what's going on behind you in the background is very easy to forget about. It's very easy to forget about it and then become embarrassed by something you might have on the wall. Length. The average attention span that we have as adults are about 20 minutes of sustained sustained interaction, sustained attention. But for online video, you got about 60 seconds. So I will tell you that every instructional developer, every video person on campus that shoots video will tell you the following: keep your videos short. I probably would go a little more than 60 seconds and would go somewhere in the area of 5 minutes, maybe 10. But don't get too far out of that. Keep your video as short as possible. Even though all video people and all instructional developers believe this, 90% of the faculty don't, and I will tell you because I watch them, they do 2 hours worth of nonstop talking. So if you have to do a lecture like that, chunk it up into sections that are digestible by the students. Don't make one long-running video. You're just doing a disservice to your students. So break it up into something that, think it through. I've said this, it takes a lot of time to do video. You spend a lot of time doing video, but you save that time in the end because you get to reuse that video over and over and over again. You can have your best presentation every single time you give your class, every single semester, but you have to spend the time up front. So do that stuff up front, spend the time, chunk it up, make it short, make it the greatest lecture you ever have, and use it over and over again. Storage. Once you have your video and it's done, whether we've done it for you or whether you've done it yourself, where are you going to put it? It has to go somewhere. You could put it on a USB drive and take it into your classroom and play it there. That's fine. But if you wanted to put it online, where does it have to go? It has to go onto a special device. It has to go into a server, web server. There are a bunch of places you can put it, one of which is UW-Oshkosh uses Kaltura. So you're part of UW-Oshkosh, you can use this service, and that's just fine. It's easy to get to. I'm going to show you how to use it. Or you can use something non-UWO like YouTube or Vimeo, or there's a few other ones that are out there as well. So there are other options. This document that I gave you sort of shows you the differences between them and kind of what I think about one or the other, what I like, what I don't like. And which leads to the next question of ownership. Who owns the things that get made? If you come down and you have us shoot your videos from beginning to end, you show up, you do your content, and that's it. You walk out the door, we do your editing, we put it together, we put it online for you, we make sure you're able to add it into D2L. You own that video. It's yours. You take it with you, you do what you want. The university does not own that video. It's very odd, but that's the thing. You own your materials. So, don't be afraid of coming down and asking us for help. Come down and ask us, hey, I have this great idea for a video that I want to do. How do I go about doing it? But don't worry about ownership because you own it. The only time the university would actually own your video is if your project was so big that they had to hire a company to specifically do your video. Then the university might say, well, wait a minute, we own some of that. Anybody familiar with this website? Terms of service that I didn't read. All right? The reason that I'm bringing this up is because if you decide to use something other than Kaltura, if you're going to use like Google or Vimeo, YouTube or Vimeo, this is a wonderful website that lets you go through and see what you have already agreed to. You know those terms of services? I agree. It's the first thing you pass by when those terms of services. Nobody reads them. They go through and they actually read them and then they grade them based upon what you have agreed to. And you notice YouTube gets a D and it tells you why. So YouTube can take your video and use it for whatever they want to do, their own marketing purposes. If you've done a video, you don't like it, or you've said something dumb or inaccurate and you delete that video, it doesn't necessarily delete off of their servers. It's still there and it's still usable by them. So that video could pop up when you least expect it somewhere else in some other time. So be aware of what it is that you've signed up for with some of these services. But this makes it easy for you to sort of read that legal document that you say, I agree to anytime you use a free service. What rights do you give up? So, terms of services that I didn't read. Do your homework. Actually watch a movie. Actually watch how that movie is edited, because it's a big deal. Because you have a tool to do swiping across the screen, or so that it does this weird kind of Venetian blind thing from one scene to the next, because you have that tool available doesn't mean you should use it. Actually watch a video, watch whatever. Pick Star Wars as a good example, because they do some interesting effects in Star Wars that aren't cheesy, that aren't dumb, that make sense. So actually watch these things. Watch documentaries. See how documentaries are done. Watch TED Talks. They have the best speakers on the planet at TED Talks, and they spend hours and hours with them, training them on how to give these great presentations. They spend a lot of time. Again, spend your time up front getting a great video, and then you can use it again later. Okay? Okay. So the next thing that I have planned, we're going to do some studio tours. We're going to talk about One Button Studio, and I'm going to show you how to get access to that room. There's a few of us, so I'm going to describe it first, and then I'll just do it. But next door, there's there's the presentations lab. You can go into the presentations lab and ask for the key for the One Button Studio, and they will give you the key. You can go use it. You can also reserve the One Button Studio online, so you can create in Google Calendar. You can add an event and invite the One Button Studio to your event, and you will reserve that room for however long you need it for. The thing that you will need is that you will need a USB. Do I have one? I do. You'll need a USB thumb drive to take with you. If you don't have one, we can let you borrow one, but just bring one of these guys with you. Okay? So are we ready for a tour? Ready for a walk? How we doing, Rick? We good? All right.